Welcome, fellow armchair generals, to Field of Glory Empires. And we're going to be taking a look at this game. They've just released, as I'm making this, a new DLC for it that focuses on Persia, though there's also, I understand, some missions based around Athens. We're going to look at the grand campaign here. Now, I really like this game. Let me go, and I sort of, as I was thinking of how I was going to frame all this, well, why don't I play it more? So I have a request, I should say, for you guys. Play it more if you really like it. Well, there's several reasons. One is just the sort of sheer amount of games to be played that would interest me, and some either games and or periods just draw me more to it. Part of it, shall we say, was no fault of this game, but quite honestly, it did affect the whole view, in my opinion, is the sort of failure of Imperator Rome when it was released. I think that just did not work well. And part of it is some disappointments in some elements of this game. In one element, and we'll get to it in a while, that this game does extremely well. A bit clunky, but extremely well. And some of the other elements it does rather well. Now, of course, this inhabits the same space as the various, Rome 2, medieval, all the Total War type games. And I played some of those. A lot of close stuff. One of the things I don't like about this, and they go, well, there's still plenty of turns. I don't like the time scale of, like, why does it matter? I don't know. But when I'm playing a game like this, I want the time scale to be, maybe I don't like this game so much. I don't know. I do think I like the game. But, because it's sort of like yearly turns. Well, there's still plenty of turns. Yeah, I know. But I don't know. A game like these are supposed to be not an exact simulation by any means. It's a game, yes. But it invokes a particular, element of reality or whatever. I'm trying to find the right word for it, because whether it's like World War II, but it could be World War II grand strategy or World War II tactics, or the classical era, or the Renaissance or whatever. And is it a merchant trading game, or is it a world conquest game, or but it's all supposed to sort of, without being maybe too pedantic, too overly done, so to not break your immersion, shall we say. So we're going to be playing Persia as this here. Context. Okay, in 559 BCE, before the Common Era, as opposed to before Christ, the Achaemenid Empire ruled just two poor regions in the Persian Gulf. Cyrus II revolted against his grandfather and overlord, Astragones? I don't know. In 553 BCE, conquered all of his lands by 550. Yeah, of course, this is the clock down. We won't read all of this, but it'll only be war for a long time. The three of your neighbors, Media, Babylon, should be disposed of as quickly as possible. Okay. So yeah, we're playing this. Now, my request to you is, and I know how to play this game, but with the new DLC, with intermediary patches, especially you more experienced players, help me, give me hints and tips for some of this. I know this, often people watch this is to learn how to play. Well, yeah, but Like I say, I know the basis of this game, but if there's more stuff happening that I'm missing nuances, please post below. I don't know how many episodes I'm making at this sitting, so it might be an episode or two before I react to what you're telling me. And even if it's too late now, still tell me so I can learn for future with this game. But okay, so that's the request. Please give me hints, tips based on what we're seeing now. And here we have metal equipment plus 68 in this sort of province, because it's all the province together, even though there's not, I mean, this is sort of the province is together, the amount of equipment. So there is a manpower element here, but there's also an equipment element, meaning you can't equip more troops than you can't. If you have manpower but you don't have enough equipment, it takes the equipment to sort of get this going. I do sort of like this in that the men and such, at least mostly, will be coming Eastern archers, Persian skirmishers. Ooh, okay, I guess we can just look at the guess those would be and equipment levels. 10, 15. Okay, so we're going to do this. We'll also talk again about the Eastern way of war and other things like that. So we're going to be expanding our armies here. Let's come back to individual states. I don't know what, from various games. Okay, now again here we can see here this has a total currently, and it's based on population size, 5 or 6 building slots, I should say. I was also sort of looking at population. 4 are currently used, but you notice there's 5 buildings because the green outline ones means that it does not take up a training slot, so you always look for those. Produces coal, already be imported. Nearby structures would produce more. Okay, we will do I always want to leave 1 free building slot. 1, 2 won't necessarily do so. So now here, and this is randomized again if you're sort of new here. Again, I'm both trying to teach the basics of the game as well as hoping experienced players will be watching. So if you don't like any of these things, it's of what's sort of likely possible and other things, but also sort of randomized. So if you don't like something, you can just do the shuffle. But we'll do, see, I don't remember guard towers from before when I played that as a building type. I don't know if it's just new with this DLC or been around for a little while. But since that doesn't take up a slot, we currently have max 4 slots using 2, and will help on defense. We will do this. So if we leave this province a bit unattended. Now this is a province that is basically unoccupied. It has 2 tribal villages, it looks like, to produce tribal warriors. Well, you know, we're going to go march into there right now immediately. We can't build anything up here because we've used up all of our slots, actually more than we have somehow, I guess, just at starting here. Vein and Satrap's Palace. We can shuffle our manpower between the different job base areas. Okay, this is what really makes me like this game. I almost said love. Like I said, there's a few things that keep me. Is we can, and it's a bit clunky, but we can just, if you want to just sort of view the battle, you can do that if you just want to play it quickly. But we're going to, though this is weaker, we're 16 units, they're 12 units, but they're also weaker in can see combat power of 29 versus 42. Other than really sort of wanting to get practice and experienced in Field of Glory 2, which is a different game, but you need to own. You can play this without that. It'll just sort of, yes, you're getting a black screen because I'm relaunching another game. You can play it with just Field of Glory Empires, but you'll just do the sort of simplistic combat, which we may show. But we're now in this Field of Glory 2 and Empire's Battle. Now, what we'll call the Total War series type use real-time combat, and they do a reasonably good job of that. I really do think so. I'm not saying it's perfect, so if you want to talk about, oh well, this and this, okay, yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect. Now this really, in my opinion, again, those of you who've watched enough of my content, which is many, know that I love miniature warfare, miniature war games, whatever you want to call them. And this is sort of this is that just on the computer, shall we say. You can deployment mode, you can drag. I don't know, can we reposition some of our forces? Yeah, so we could. Okay, but we're in this sort of starting box. We're going to put you there. We know the terrain. Would I love to play these things out on miniature tables with other people? Absolutely. It's just the cost, time of painting, whatnot. So never played as much miniature war games as I would like. Here's Cyrus II. He's commander-in-chief of this, and this is his sort of command unit there. Just move it slightly forward. It does have I think some sort of command and rallying capabilities, and definitely if you have a command unit what would be the term, collapse, Sprout, you're probably going to have very bad things happen to the rest of your forces. Okay, that's the deployment. They get to deploy now. This one, I guess, is still okay. So I like the miniature warfare. I guess we're moving all these one at a time. You can move them in a group, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. This moves that whole section as one. Okay. Do a little more out on the flank. I guess all these guys will move up, and we'll keep them fairly close. So I definitely will acknowledge if done well, and I think definitely some of the Total War stuff is most assuredly done well. This is just really weird. Okay, we're gonna shift a little bit here just to get some height advantage. We're gonna hold fire. Oh, we move. Yes, push you out on the flank a little bit too. You were just gonna go straight forward. It's all of you. Oh, did I, okay, yeah, let's undo this. Okay, I guess I really just want to move there. There we go. This will, again, face them out towards your enemy. So, yeah. They're going to come out and start hurting us. They're already disrupted. They're actually being fairly smart this time and concentrating fire on this flanking unit here. One thing I often see, particularly with the AI, is that they will spread their fire out a lot. Turn and shoot. Good. Turn and shoot. Yeah. They can shoot off axis, but you can see they do better when they turn and shoot. 2 to 12, 6 to 26, likely. Yeah, we do want you generally facing forward. You're already facing that way, so that unit's taking a real pounding. Now let's see, we're going to pick this unit here. Something that we can get multiple units concentrating on. They're disrupted already. These guys are going to turn and shoot there. They're already disrupted and have a fair amount of just a little bit of a problem. They're on roughish ground, so their movement's slow. If you want to move the whole formation all at once, okay. Yes, maybe because I did that. Oh, we can do it this way too. So either help me learn. I don't use my cavalry very well. I don't seem to good timings with cavalry units. I just not sure why. Either I don't know the rules well enough, or I don't know. Now I move these right up here. Just because I think I want to eventually slide them out and around for flanking this side, because we have the height up here to potentially dominate, and I want to control the heights instead of having them come up on the heights. Where here they're stepped back one, sort of refusing the left here, so that for flanking elements. So instead of just purely expanding the line, which would theoretically they could keep moving, edging out to the side, we're sort of expanding the line with the horse here and leaving these sort of staggered when I mishandle the horse. These guys are staying one square back so that they can, if there's a gap or otherwise need to deal with something there more easily to plug a hole back here, as if they're just behind it shuffling horizontally along them is just not going to work out well. Okay. Oh, now that we're up here, bring our line units to play. facing definitely matters. Primarily on line units and that type of thing, but even matters for your skirmish units if they get into actual melee combat, where these are all just... Yeah, they retreated. Good job. Instead of getting tied down to melee combat. Okay, well, we're gonna turn and shoot them in the face. They're basically just blocking our path. These guys can... And skirmish units can radically turn more than tight line units. Okay, let's zoom in a bit here. I can already tell, but we can see here these guys are purely melee infantry. These guys look like also purely most all these guys are. No, I think some of these guys have javelins. These guys may have javelins. Irregular turn and shoot long range. Okay, they do have javelins, so they do have some of that, but that is still a fair amount closer in. They're already running away. They might turn around and come back, but I think we're going to concentrate our fire here. I don't know if I plan on using these guys so much in combat as opposed to just simply keep these guys from turning our flanks. Okay, that's it. So my goal here is, in my opinion, unless I do something really stupid, I'm going to win. That isn't in doubt here, but is how can we do this with the fewest casualties? Because we want to preserve our army, because your results will be exported back out to the Empire's gain, which will affect future combats. They rallied now that they're sort of safe and right by our commander-in-chief. Okay, yeah. I don't know if it's terrain, but I think it's more that these guys are just having to turn, which is delaying their advance a little bit. And these guys will come up here. Face that way, just so hopefully nobody's hiding that. Just notice the question mark here. That means there can be a unit here that we don't see. Not saying that they even think there's a unit. It's just unlike, say, some of these palm trees areas aren't, well, there could be somebody hiding in the built-up area. But these other areas, they do have terrain effects. But again, there could be units hiding there if there's a question mark. Okay, well. Really don't want to turn and give this unit my flank. They may be able to run. I think, well, let's first see how long these guys stand. You can retreat through this unit, which not this turn. They auto break simply because they've lost too many of their number in that particular unit. So even if they succeeded, which it looked like they did, a morale check. Okay, no, we're not going to, since we're not moving this line up this turn, you shoot him in the face. There's a limited, I think it's 5. We see ammunition. Once the ammunition runs out, they can still shoot, but it's at half strength. Basically, I guess, meaning like they're scrounging arrows off the battlefield. Okay, that's cleared out most of the enemy skirmishers, so next turn we'll advance forward either by advancing these guys up or by retreating them through our unit. Probably retreating them through our unit. No, I'm just going to sit here. They disperse, they disperse, they disperse. They're retreating. They're retreating. Theoretically, the retreating units can rally. It's good skirmishers set in the right conditions can often, like they just did, evade run away strategy, which works quite well, especially when you're being overwhelmed by. Okay, see, now they've used their arrows, come up well, and shot our horse. Our slingers are slinging. Slingers are good in this game. I just prefer archers when I can have them. Okay, yes. Well, they succeeded in holding firm. Now, yeah, I think that's maybe the better move, instead of moving through our troops. So we're going to come here. Okay. Okay, that allowed them to get back through now. Good. We want to keep our line as unbroken as practical. We can see here their line extends beyond ours, which means that they can theoretically hit this one in unit with 3 other units. But since we have sort of refused the left, we can deal with this with both our horse and our skirmishers. There's sort of trap there. They're going to turn around and move up there. All right, well, shoot them in the face. Trade fires with the other general. Now they're all the way down to fragmented. This is one of their, if not their commander-in-chief, one of their general units. Like I say, disrupting that. I sometimes wonder how much I should talk about things, especially if I've talked about them before. Don't know how many of you are new viewers, and if you want to give some of that feedback below, you know, if you're a new viewer here and haven't watched, say, any of this, not this is the first episode of this series, but any of, classical era warfare where I talk about these things, but you're new to this, it's good to know for me. If you've heard it all before, you just want me to play the game or say something new, please post that. Or hey, if you don't mind repeating myself, don't know how much to do so. But I think it was a book by Montgomery of Alamein. That's actually his title. Well, Bernard Montgomery, General Montgomery of World War II. He wrote a book on the history of warfare. Really good book. I think it was there. It was first pointed out that I read. First pointed out that something that I read is either that or John Keegan's work. Another sort of history of warfare. Maybe it was John Keegan's work. Another good author. It's always, when Montgomery writes his book after World War II, it's always interesting to see a general who fought, somebody as high level and as low level, because he starts out, I believe he was like a division commander in the Battle of France, and ends up being the primary British field commander. So he's fought at different levels of World War II to what he studied and researched and wants to write about history of warfare. So that's just fascinating on that too. Right, but okay, the Eastern way of warfare versus the Western way of warfare, and this can be typified by something like the Greeks versus the Persians in their many battles. But it's beyond that. It's part of that, but it's beyond just that. And you can even see this very much in, like, the Celts fighting in the West. And this goes to this day, in my opinion. The Eastern way of warfare, and it's almost universally true. I mean, it's not, I'm sure you can find examples of where it's not, but it's almost universally true. They want to very much either with like skirmish infantry or line infantry like this and stand behind these portable shields. Shoot at each other or whatever, until one side or the other has an advantage, clearly, that one side perceives that they have the advantage, that it's clear advantage, and only at that point attack. So they would literally stand here face to face and shoot at each other, or throw javelins or whatever. Where if you get in the Western way of warfare, they very well often do have skirmish troops, the Greeks particularly known from the Isle of Crete, but slingers. Yeah, they had slingers. They absolutely did. You can read about Xenophon's, I normally call it March of the 10,000, or Anabasis, is sort of his chronicle of the retreat of the Greek mercenary army, meddling in, or was hired by one claimant to the Persian throne, or one rebel group, or whatever it was, going in that is on the losing side of a battle, but they don't lose, and they're sort of surrounded, and the Persians are trying to get them to surrender. They end up fighting their way back to Greece. Long element. But one of the things they do fairly early on is, because they didn't have that, at least from the records of it, or from the book, that they have a skirmish corps, if you will. They were relying upon, they were, mainly not phalanx, not the Sarissa. I keep going to the Alexandrian era. Hoplite troops, or hoplites, if you're going for sort of a bit more French version of it, I think. But the hoplites, guys with big shield, big round shields, long pikes, sword, a helmet, some sort of body armor, generally, maybe metal, maybe just cloth, and then metal greaves, the sort of shin guards. They were mostly those type of troops. Well, they quickly set up some skirmish, and they're slingers, and they go, search up a bunch of river stones to be used as sling stones and whatnot, because they knew as they were going to be marching out, they needed to have skirmish troops along with their main line, something that the Persians were unable to crush. They weren't able to go beat larger Persian armies with it, because larger Persian armies can use avoidance, just stay out of the range of the big sharp pointy things, and then city walls and whatnot to keep them, and they had to supply themselves, so they fought. So they need skirmish warfare, is the point. So they absolutely know and use skirmish warfare, but their main decision is, instead of firepower, is direct contact. And so they want to very likely maybe soften up, but whether you come in at the charge or you just come in at the march, they want to get to melee range much faster. And this continues to this day, when you see how guys using primarily or almost exclusively firepower, U.S. soldiers, both Marines and Army soldiers, that they most assuredly will use, are not planning on doing bayonet charges or anything like that. I mean, that's only sort of a, using your bayonet and, clearing a house, you're coming around corners, or they may well stick a bayonet on the end of the gun, just because you don't know what's around the corner and you may just need to stab, kind of thing. But, not on bayonet charges. So it's still a useful weapon, but it's not what it once was. But you can see the overall tactics, the aggressive tactics, to get at your opponents, compared to the Eastern tactics of sniping and fading away. Not necessarily guerrilla tactics. I mean, sometimes they are, but trying to create local advantages that way. And so, yeah. So this is typically the Eastern way of warfare that these typify. Because I can tell you, if you often charge one of these units into, especially another one of these units, will take on some more advanced powers here, you very well may be attacking and fail and have to retreat back. Okay, I think we are done now. I don't think I want to turn these guys to face. Yeah, I guess it's worth it just to clear these guys away from us. No, these guys. Okay. can see their impact charge. They've taken more casualties. Okay, they've decided to hit that corner. Those corner of units can definitely be weaker. Now see, they've fragmented. Now these are crappy troops versus my troops. So I'm surprised some of those didn't run away. They're retreating. They're coming up and shooting. And whether war games like this just are confirmation bias, meaning they let's see if they can charge in. I was hoping they'd come from there, but... well, they've inflicted more casualties than they took. So now that they've engaged our left, they have nothing more to really attack there, so we're no longer worrying about refusing the left. We're going to engage with them. Now you can't shoot at, again, for those, you can't shoot at a unit that is in melee combat with your own unit. The idea is this, that you're too likely to sort of shoot your own people, so these guys do theirs for the turn. Now here, because we don't want to get too engaged with these, we don't want to turn our point to left corner, so we will do that. You can come to here. So now these guys are useless here, so we're going to let's move you to here. We're going to fade through these. And we're going to fade through these. And we want to win this quickly, so we're going to try to charge there. They took heavy casualties. These guys are going to come up and charge here. And they're retreating. Good that they didn't pursue. They're broken, disrupted. These are no longer engaged. We're going to shoot these guys in the face. Already disrupted. They're not doing well. They break en route, so there's a general going. I don't think he was commanding any other units. Mostly for not wanting to break my line, we're not going to turn and shoot, but we will just shoot sort of at an angle there. Now if we move down off this slope, we might get a chance to shoot over the heads of our fellow soldiers. It seems like we can sort of there. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. We're back in far enough to be able to do so. And we'll move our general. Took more casualties than we did. So they might take out this 1 foot unit, but I don't, because these guys here and these guys here could all intervene in that attack. I don't know why they didn't, but they could. And you're gonna lose, so that isn't the question, it's just our cost at winning. Okay, see now they joined in the action here. And did very badly and had to fall back, which is not unexpected, but at least it's Since you decided to attack where you did instead of try to like hang back on the hills and rush down from a nice spot. Okay. Very disrupted, they fall back. There you go. I think that's their commanding general unit. These guys rallied. Okay, very good. Now you shoot them in the face. Yep, turn and shoot. Okay, they can't quite get turned and face to get into that action there. Let's see if we can break this command unit. And there. Anyway, and it's disrupted and had them make morale checks. Yeah, they should be able to turn and shoot. Yeah, we're going to do a melee charge. They break routing, charged into the sights of these guys. Oh, we had a general die. If I read all that right. Ouch. That wasn't the best outcome. You move through there, that would be great. Right, let's keep facing them. Okay, now they're disrupted as well. Let's turn around. Okay, don't like that that general died. You have to keep that in mind if you're going to put your generals into the line of combat, and you should at times, most assuredly, but it does have a risk. It's often their leading premier units. Like here, these guys are a rather good unit for them, and they're doing nothing but standing around. Not that there's going to change the outcome ultimately, but again, the numbers here are casualties on their side, so the higher the number for the enemy, the better we are. Okay, they routed, our horse followed them in pursuit and killed even more, which can be a bad thing. Let's join this combat as fresh troops. Okay, that just got them broken. Okay, and they impacted this unit on the flank, which is, and they can't do anything about it, and they can't because they're checkmated by some of maybe these guys here. not going to have our skirmishers make close contact with them. Turn and shoot. Face that way. Well, one turn left of ammunition. We don't have to kill all their units, we just have to get enough of them to break. Got significant morale loss. You come up here, you turn and shoot. Very good, very good. They're routing. Okay, well. You join in, just put you there. Okay, that just breaks and routes that. Oh, they still haven't broken yet. Okay. Where they can't attack there. I just don't need to get these guys into ground contact with them even for a moment. Yeah, those horses are just going to charge. I wonder whether it's the humans or the horses that are most out of control. Let's see, yeah, they came to the flank of these guys. And they've lost heart overall and they're done. So yes, glorious victory. No, they're both A and B Persians. Yeah, this has to be no, this has to be us here. Well, I don't understand. A, B, original. Oh, okay, original strength here is largest. That has to be us, our side here. We lost 3%, they lost 58%. Yeah. Yes, we want to shut this down. Your screen will go black briefly. And yes, open that game up again. So it is a bit clunky, obviously. Import battle results. Which is, no, actually, 45, yes. Okay, basically we killed all their units. And we now have a new province, or a new, I don't know. Okay, we are a stable monarchy. We got a progress token. Our former lords, for too long we have been forced to pay homage to the kings of Medea. but no more. Soon will come the time of reckoning. Our council will warn you as soon as the king has decided it would be the best course of action for Persia. In addition, council notifications be in tap. Okay. And so progress versus decadence. You don't want decadence, you want progress. You know, one of the things I don't like is, this is often a good starting point, but some of their, and I think it's random choices, names, effects for the leader here is not fair. Just don't handle it well, in my opinion. Okay. I guess. Okay, general now available to serve you. Good. And we can, yeah. Put him in charge of this army here. They want us to take there. And by achieving the goals, you get positive, you know, progress tokens. Okay, so this has basically no manpower, just one. We could do like roads. So what we're going to do here now, that because there's a little line, means it's going to take forever. And I think if we were to do that now, that'll just take 20 turns, 20 years. Yeah, bit much here. I guess region is the term. Okay, it's still 2 more turns to get that. 1 more turn there. Still need more population growth. Food will help. Okay, well, I think we're going to end the episode here. Again, I'd love your help if you're an experienced player with the game, to give me tips, hints, suggestions. Love to hear them so we can better play this. I got the basics, I think you can tell, down, but trying to dig a little deeper into some of the stuff, trading and whatnot, maybe I could use some help with. So thanks so much. See you next time. Oh, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, like I was saying, comments, but see you next time for more historical gaming.